Hi guys, it's Celia. It is a little after 1 o'clock on Monday, October 2nd, and we've just had another mass shooting. The worst mass shooting in our nation's modern history. I hope that we don't all go into there have been so many other mass shootings and we should consider those. Let's talk about modern history and let's talk about what's happening right now. Today, we woke up to the news of so far over 58 people have been killed in Las Vegas as a result of an individual deciding that he wants to take people out. He checked into his hotel room, whether it be September 28th or last night, that doesn't matter. And there's people arguing in the media about when he checked in. Who cares? What we're talking about here is a white man who committed an act of terrorism. And we have to call it what it is. Terrorism is simply violence or a threat intended to coerce or intimidate. This man committed an act of violence against people that he probably has never met, people he doesn't know. He committed this act of violence against them. And why? We don't know. And even if the investigation turns out a motive of some sort, we can never really know what his intention was, what the thoughts were that were going through his mind when this happened. But we do know a few things. We know it was premeditated. We know that it happened in a public area. Don't we all go to festivals? Don't we all go to outdoor open air events where we can enjoy the beautiful weather, we can enjoy whatever's going on? We do. So we've got to figure out what this means to us. What this should mean to us is that these kinds of things can happen. And they do happen. And they are happening. So we've got to get rid of, this is America, that kind of stuff's not going to happen here. Because it's happening here. It's happening here on a regular basis. And this is, yet again, proof of that. So, let's talk about a few things. Because already, the poor victims haven't even all been accounted for. And already I'm hearing about gun control because he had 10 guns in the room. He could have done this with one gun. You don't need 10. He could have done it with one and lots of ammo. So we can't lose focus of what's going on here. We can't lose focus of why these kinds of things occur. The gun is just a tool. He could have not had a gun and thrown a bunch of Molotov cocktails over, or he could have dropped a gas of some sort. This man could have committed this act of terrorism in many other ways. So while, yes, the gun was a tool that he used, we can't just focus on that. And he wasn't part of ISIS. He was a 64-year-old white guy that happened to be born on my birthday, which is kind of sucky. But this guy was an old white guy who decided to retire to Vegas. You're going to say it wasn't an act of terrorism just because he was white? It's an act of terrorism. And that's what happens. So let's be mindful of that. Let's know that these things are happening around us. So now my point to you is, what are you going to do about it? I had a lady recently ask me, why do you carry a tourniquet in your bag? I said, I have a compression bandage too. And she's like, why? This is why. This is why I carry a tourniquet and a compression bandage. Because when the reports are in many, many months from now, I'd like to know how many of the victims bled out because first responders couldn't get to them in time. Can you imagine the chaos that the first responders are feeling inside their souls? There's gunfire coming from somewhere. And for any of you who know what gunfire sounds like, it's very hard to pinpoint. It's hard to know where it's coming from. So you've got people being shot. You've got gunfire that's active for 10 to 15 minutes, and you've got to find where it's at. You don't have time to stop and render aid to someone. You don't have time to stop someone from bleeding to save their lives. Your goal is to eliminate the threat. So you're stepping over people who are bleeding and pleading for help. That's where we come in. We have to learn how to stop the bleeding. We have to know that we are capable of putting on a tourniquet, of putting on a compression bandage, of tearing off our shirts and saving someone's life. Because in an event like this one, we cannot wait for first responders. They're not going to be there for us, not because they don't want to, but they just can't. They can't get to us in time. They can't do what we need them to do for us because their job is to eliminate and neutralize the threat. It is our job to take care of each other, to take care of ourselves, and to know how to do it. And I tell you, I get a little bit frustrated with people that are like, oh, Celia, you're really paranoid. I tell you, I don't want to live that way. Okay, then you'll bleed out an event like this. Or your loved one will bleed out. God forbid you are ever involved in an event like this. So either you think about it and you get trained on it, or you decide that you don't want to think about it and you don't want to live like this and have some education. So I don't know what else to say other than this stuff is happening. It's happening in our nation. It's happening all over the world, but it's here now. And it's not just ISIS. It's not just ISIS who's coming along saying, oh, I'm going to commit terrorism. This was an old white dude, folks, and he committed an act of terrorism. I don't care what the media wants to call it. I don't care what our government is going to say about it. It is terrorism. We've got to be ready for it. And while we can't be ready every time, every day to neutralize the threat, we can be ready to do something in the aftermath of events like this. So all I ask of you, go out, get trained. If you're local, we'll do it for you. But get trained on how to stop bleeding, how to use your shirt to put on a tourniquet, how to put pressure on a wound so you can save someone's life, what side to lay someone on so they have the best advantage. There are a lot of things that we can all learn to help in an event like this one. So I ask that you share this, that you talk to your friends and family about it, because now that Pulse nightclub is in our rearview mirror because the next worst shooting in modern history is upon us, people will be talking about it for a little while. But then a year from now, will it go away until the anniversary pops up and then we'll talk about it some more? Maybe. But please, go out, get trained, know what to do in the case of events like this, because the first responders can't take care of us. They've got other missions to take care of in those moments, and we've got to be able to take care of ourselves. I hope you agree. And if you don't, you're wrong. No other way for me to put that. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Please share this. Please go out and talk to your friends and to your families and to your kids, because trust me, your kids know about this. They're talking about it in school. Talk to them about first aid, about what it means to lose all the blood out of your body and what happens when you lose too much blood. Because many victims don't die from a life-threatening wound. They die because they bled out. All right. Be safe out there. I care about you guys. I wouldn't bother putting any of this stuff up if I did not. But I care. I care about our nation. I care about us as people. And we've got to be prepared to take care of ourselves and each other in the event of unexpected situations like this one. Take care. Be safe. Bye.